come in programs, come in. This is Major General J. Case, call sign Facepalm, guiding you through the absolutely stunning free VR International Space Station experience brought to you by Oculus Studios and NASA. I'll be running you through the pros, the cons, and some unexpected side effects you may experience from this training exercise. So stay locked, crush that like button, enjoy, and I hope it helps.
What is currently happening YouTube? Facepalm here, your friend in Oz and NZ, bringing you reviews, tutorials and game clips, minus the shit. You can follow me on Twitter at Facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to bring your game face. Let's get it done. So the mission ISS, which stands for International Space Station, is up on the Oculus Store right now as a free download. This experience takes you up to the ISS for a guided tour and a little bit of unpaid work. The experience has great reviews, though you will see the usual suspects having troubles with motion sickness, which in an experience like this, it's going to be par for the course anyway. Once you start up the experience, the first thing you'll see is this insane intro, which is actually one of my favorite parts of the demo, as it sets the immersion factor sky high, as it were, straight out of the gate. The graphics are absolutely beautiful, and I immediately felt like I was in space and that the scale was larger than life as we know it. Very cool. The giant Oculus logo and the space station itself heading towards you at pace actually made me put my arms up for protection and gave me a great rush as it got closer. Once you're in the menus, you can choose training, missions, or explore. Start with training, as this leads on to the missions anyway. And once you're in the experience, you'll get a voice over the comms guiding you through the movement systems, where you can use the analog sticks on the touch controllers for forward and backward coasting in combination with a small 30-degree snap turn. Then just move your hands to grab onto objects in the environment and push off from them to move through the station. This is the same locomotion that will be used in the upcoming game Lone Echo by Ready at Dawn Studios. And I'll tell you now, in comparison to a game like Adrift, the motion sickness in this experience is substantially less of an issue than I would have expected, and it works really well. And if you're really keen, you can go into the settings menu of the game and change the movement to two-handed rotation, which lets you grab onto objects with two hands and swivel in place, instead of using the analog sticks to snap turn, though this option can be a bit sickness inducing due to the sensitivity of the mechanic. I definitely did find that playing through this experience standing was the way to go, because when I was seated, the feeling of the chair on the back of my legs kept killing my buzz, and standing with no contact except your feet on the floor felt more like floating wood. Throughout the experience, you can point at certain objects and select them, and a picture or a video will pop up and run you through some cool facts about the ISS and its crew. I really like this part, and it was so good to learn something from this experience that I didn't know before, and in a very visceral way too. It's a hell of a thing, and Oculus has put it together really well. At some point, you'll be asked to control a giant mechanical boom arm that you need to dock carefully with a pod without hitting that or the station, which was actually a lot more challenging than I first thought due to the rotation mechanics of the arm. But I did feel it was difficult enough to make it challenging, but not so difficult as to make it infuriating. You'll also be asked to step outside the station in a suit to check a malfunction, and this part was nothing short of beautiful. The spacesuit obstructs your view enough to make it feel real, or as real as I would imagine real to be in the situation, and gliding around the outside of the station was a little unnerving, especially given the fact that nearly every outside of the ship scene I've ever seen in a movie results in at least one person being catapulted out into space, and given I was the only one out there, it definitely felt like it was going to be me. Luckily though, even though I did start to go way off track, the immense pressure I was putting on my touch controller's thumbstick to get my thrusters to direct me back towards the station and back into the hatch was enough to avoid a full panic mode. All in all, the experience is short, but absolutely worth the price of admission. And to be honest, I'd probably be happy paying around $10 for it anyway. I did feel a bit isolated at times, and the general vibe was that I'd been sent to the ISS a couple of weeks after the crew from the videos had left, or that it was setting the tone for some space opera horror that never came about. And this actually perked my interest in the possibilities of future space horror games and the movement mechanics we are starting to see implemented. As far as immersion goes, with the lights off in my studio and doing the experience standing, the immersion factor was sky high for me. And it wasn't until the experience had finished that I realized it may have been a little too high, because once I was out, I did experience a little vestibular confusion. What I mean by that is that when I stood still in my room with the headset off, the room moved around a little bit, kind of like very mild vertigo, if you've ever had that. Not an alarming amount, but it was definitely there for the first 5 or so minutes after the mission had ended. Just something to be aware of. I would definitely recommend this experience if you have a Rift, and I will absolutely be jumping on the 5-star bandwagon on the Oculus Store. And that's it from me today. So if you like this video, then crush that like button, ask any questions in the comments below, subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! Thanks for watching today's video. Just remember you can follow me on Twitter at facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment, and subscribe. But don't forget to bring your game face. Facepalm out.